our Celtics insider, Mego, and I'm just learning, yet another victim of food theft.
Yep.
Yes.
In this building.
Well, I was talking to Courtney. I just said somebody stole my organic Easy Mac 2 weeks ago when I was coming in for a night shift, and that I was depending on that for my dinner.
Oh,
Wow.
Important
So-
to note, her name was on it.
My name was on it.
where was it?
It was in the kitchen. Someone took.
Where in the kitchen?
It was sitting on the old table, but it was before the table was removed.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
There's only
See, I
one
feel like
person.
Rich thief.
No,
Sticky Richie.
I don't think so.
I feel like things that are on the table, though.
But it had my name on it.
It had your name on it. Well,
But it
then
was
that's-
sitting
that-
there for a couple days because
Yeah.
I had a plan of coming in later in the week and having it there.
Yeah,
Oh,
if it has
okay.
your name
Yeah.
on it, I mean, that's unadulterated theft.
Unless there's a second Mego in the building.
I don't think there is.
No.
Congratulations to your commanders.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I have said this before. I'm learning that I might be the only Washington football fan that anyone knows north of the Mason-Dixon line because the amount of texts, tweets, wonderful messages that I got, I'm like, you do realize there was this whole fan base there before the Patriots? Like, NFL football did happen before 2001.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are these other fan bases out there. But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a friend in Selfie that is a big Commanders fan. I watched the
Wow.
game with him on Saturday.
Where is he from?
I would have to ask
You
specifically.
don't know where your friends are from?
No.
He's from the
Like actual
DMV, though?
town? Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's from
yeah,
the
yeah.
DMV.
No,
huh?
I don't know actual town.
Oh, but
we
like,
talked about you though, and he was like looking up where your town is and stuff.
You find Laytonsville?
Yes.
It's a small town.
Yeah, but I think you guys are different in age a bit. But he was wearing like a vintage Clinton Portis jersey. It was
Nice.
sick. Yeah.
All right.
Love Clinton Portis.
I did a show with Clinton Portis back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, my
Where?
first out of college with the ACC.
ACC?
Yeah, it was called "Are You Serious?" Yeah,
That's awesome. What was he? He was a huge hero of mine growing up. So
I love him.
CP.
He's a character.
Oh, yeah.
I think, unfortunately, I have to lean toward the ELGFES Eagles.
Let me hear you all say
Why?
E-L-G-S-E-S Eagles!
Nailed it.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do with them for?
I just feel like I feel like they are going to win this football
forgot
game.
the A.
Well, she was confused a little bit, the mayor. But I don't know.
I got my money on the Commanders.
Same.
All right.
You do?
I
really?
do.
I don't know if you'd put your actual money on them, but
Uh-huh.
like pin your hopes.
I'm putting actual money, dollars. I'm putting it on the Commanders, and I am putting it on the Bills.
Okay,
They
that would be a
split.
great Super Bowl.
Remember, Washington and Philly split.
Yeah. Mhm.
There are 2 meetings, and Jalen Hurts is going to be dealing with that knee injury,
Yep.
so he's not going to be mobile. You look at the game that they won last week. Jalen Hurts has a big run in that game early in the game, and I think that Dan Quinn is going to be like, we're not going to let Saquon Barkley beat us. We'll load up the box and put it on the shoulders of the guy who's got one leg and who's not really this great passer in Jalen Hurts. That's what I would do if I was the Commanders. I would put it in and say, Jalen Hurts, you going to have to beat us.
Yeah,
Saquon
put it on
ain't.
him. Put it on him. Shime had a great take the other day because we were doing the afternoon show. Wiggy, I want your opinion on this. Jayden Daniels, already top 5 quarterback in the league.
Number 5.
Who's in the 5 spot?
Well, maybe put your foot on the brake just
Well,
a
tell
little
me
bit.
who's in the 5
All right,
spot.
so my top 5 would be obviously Mahomes,
Allen.
Lamar,
Yeah.
Burrow.
Yeah.
And then who's better than Jayden
Do you
Daniels
go
at 5?
Herbert? You think Herbert's better than Daniels?
I'd probably go CJ Stroud.
That's where I was hinting too.
Yeah, I'd
but
probably go if I had to. And listen, I think if Jayden Daniels can play like this again next year, then we can start having the conversation. But I probably would go CJ Stroud before him, just because a little bit more experience. And
So he would be 6 for you then? Still pretty high. Like
yeah,
that's,
I mean,
that's
it's
kind of
not
my point.
an
It's
insane
arguable.
conversation.
Yeah, I could say
It sounds insane at first, and then you start going through the quarterbacks now, and you go, "Oh wow, I don't know."
I could put him in the top 10 easily all day long.
Well, yeah, top 10. We're talking
Yeah.
top 5.
Not top 5. Maybe.
Stafford?
Yeah, I like Stafford. See, I like Stafford. I might go with Stafford.
All these great quarterbacks who are no
Yeah.
longer playing in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Stafford
But-
might also retire
But
like
see,
tomorrow.
here's the advantage of Jayden Daniels, because if I had to pick one to start a team, I would go with Daniels
Okay.
before Stafford and everything else.
All right, on to the Celtics.
Yes.
You're around this team all the time. What is or is not going on with Jaylen Brown?
Oh, so you guys are in on the Jaylen Brown conspiracy
I'm not.
theories?
I am not.
Well, you're a Jaylen Brown
Apologist,
lifer.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
I don't even
Stan, yeah.
apologize, but apologist.
I'm
But
a
you
stan,
love
yeah.
him. You
Yeah.
love him. I think it's just any time that it starts getting a little bit slumpy, which is what this team has been. Anytime they get a little bit slumpy, it turns back to the Jays.
Yep.
The Jays, can they coexist? The Jays, can they run it back? The Jays.
So
is
why
it
is he-
a
why
usage thing? Should it be JT's team? Is it JB's team? I'm just like, I don't
He
know. I
looks
feel like
mad.
I'm 2 years past this. Jaylen Brown is clearly a guy who is very determined in his beliefs, and he did the same stuff kind of in speaking last year about Joe Mazzulla at times saying this is a team that needs to have a defensive identity and that should be at times our prerogative. I'm totally paraphrasing here, but he speaks his mind.
Louder for the people in the back.
And it doesn't mean that there is disharmony in the team. I
So
find
why
it.
is he avoiding the media?
Yes, Mego, keep going.
Why is he avoiding the media?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He's not. He's 4 or 5 times. He's refused to apparently to go out and talk post game, of late. He has expressed that he's
not
trying
comfortable with his new
he's
role.
not comfortable with his new role. Like what? You're telling me there's no new role?
Did he say specifically, I'm not comfortable, or did he just
Yes.
talk about
Yeah.
having a new role? Because with
said-
Abby Chin,
He said that he was being being used more as a playmaker.
Right.
Right.
He goes. I'm getting, and I maybe it wasn't comfortable. He says, I'm getting adjusted to
Right.
my new role, but it could have been not comfortable. I don't know
I
the
don't
exact
believe it
word.
is.
Greg,
But my
let me ask
new
you a
role
question.
as a playmaker. So I would ask you, like,
Wait, if you worked with someone and they constantly harumphed and said they don't like their role, would you say they were happy?
No.
It doesn't mean they're a bad person or a bad worker or they're bad at their job. But
can I just read the direct quote?
Yes.
I've had to adjust. It's a different year. I just do what the team needs me to do. I've been able to evolve through different things in my career. This team, I'm more of a playmaker, so I just embrace it and get better in the role and do what I do. Like what Wiggy just said and what was actually said is so different.
play
and
the
that's-
audio, Courtney.
We've used
we
it.
have the audio. Sean,
Also, does he know there's only one playmaker?
right, Michael Irvin.
yeah, Sean, play the audio.
okay,
Those
I'm
are
just
his
reading.
words, not mine.
Okay,
I
but
don't
I'm-
have the audio.
We played it the other day.
You played it the other day.
I didn't play it. I have no idea. Because
No
Greg
idea.
asked me this, I think it was yesterday. I'm like, I can't find this audio to
We
save my life.
literally
We
played it.
literally
The
just
one with Abby
played
Chin?
it. Yeah,
Yeah, we-
that was
literally-
what I just read.
I know. The,
But
He
the
wants to hear the
whole
way he wants to
beginning.
hear the way he says it.
Well,
I
we'll
mean,
have to pull
you'll
it
have to
up.
take my word for it. He is unhappy when he's speaking with Abby Chin. When you watch the video, it has basically gone viral. It was one of the first times in a while that he spoke to the media, and it's not some manufactured drama. He is someone who is open about when he is unhappy with something. That's all. If that's anybody else on any other team, we broke down every move Tom Brady made, or Pedro Martinez, or any of the great players that the Boston has had over the last 20 years.
So I would say a couple things. One, like I don't know if it's manufactured or not, because it's very possible that there is something behind the scenes. Like I just would say that I don't know that. I don't, is that fair to say?
And you
like,
don't see it. You're not seeing it.
I don't see it. So I'm not saying it's manufactured or not. There can be truth there. I don't know. But I hope that's okay to say. But at the same time, with Jaylen Brown, every season there's something like this. It was 2 years ago. He was talking about the sacrifices that he had to make. He went into a New York Times interview /athletic where he talked extensively about taking a back seat and sacrificing, and at the same time he was getting a super max deal in his future.
Right.
And so
But I think
I don't
the
think
argument,
I think my feeling is just that it's not anything new, and the team is in the position they're in where they're defending champs and they're not playing their best basketball right now. So everyone's looking for reasons why that is. And the parsing of every single breakdown of what they say, as you said, Curtis, people did it with Brady. This is what happens when you're on top.
But Mego, when the player says it, there's a reasoning why they say it, right?
We used it and they said it yesterday.
Right. So when the player says, I'm getting adjusted, and I sent Chime some audio, when there's a little bit of like, there's a little of the player being unsure about his new role and how they're handling him, right?
What is his new role?
More of a
it's his
playmaker.
role.
So whatever that means.
I have no idea what that
There's-
means.
I
mean,
think
there's 5
what
guys
people
on the court. Like they're all playmakers, and they all get to put the hoop, to put the ball in the hoop every once in a while.
I think what people are reading between the lines there, I'll speak for Curtis. You can tell me, since it seems like you're on kind of the other side of this, if I'm misinterpreting this. Jaylen's talking about being the guy with the ball in his hands at the beginning of the play versus at the end of the play.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the guy with the final shot?
Right.
Is he the guy who's going to the hoop? Or is he the guy who's setting other guys up? That's a playmaker.
Yeah, playmaker is
That's
you're
he's making $300+ million. Have the ball at the beginning or the middle or the end. Like I thought it was a team, and the object is to win the basketball game.
And it's physically impossible in the NBA to be paid more than Jaylen Brown is currently being paid.
But
Well,
everything
Jason Tatum's going to try.
But everything he's said is basically like, I'm doing what's best for the team. So I think what Mego said is completely right. It's rinse and repeat every year.
If you are complaining about doing what's best for the team, then you are unhappy about
but
it.
if he's getting asked a certain question,
You
and
think Abby Chin was like, tell me right now you're unhappy?
I don't believe he said he's unhappy.
Well, I just
I would love to hear him say that.
Yeah, and well, if we can ever get the audio, but I just feel like when a player is
What's the matter?
He sends me an Instagram link, which I can't roll in from my computer. I can't even get it on my computer, so I had to send it to Jackson, and so I'm waiting for it. I'm trying here.
So
I'm doing what I can.
We literally used it 24 hours ago.
I have looked through every folder, unless it's in some random folder that somebody put it in.
Mego, I guess for me is
Yeah.
like I get hit because his assists are up, so I get being more of a playmaker, and that was one of the things that maybe I knocked him on a little bit. I would be like, oh, he can score, but how does he do when he has to get everybody else involved? And so when I hear him say this, and this was after the Magic game where I was at that game, I just wonder, like when a player says that, like there's a little bit of
Top of daily, Jaylen Brown playmaker.
I think
yes,
yeah, I think he has it.
All right.
But there's just a little bit that you start to wonder, like, is like there's a frustration there for him when the player says, I got to get used to it, and it's something that I'm trying to get used to.
Let it rip,
Right.
Sean.
Yeah. I mean, I've had to adjust. It's a different year, and I just do what the team needs me to do. I've been able to evolve, do different things in my career. This team, I'm more of a playmaker, so I just embrace it, just get better in that role, and just do what I do.
So I had,
Yeah. Oh my God.
so-
Thank God we got the audio. Wiggy, you were so right.
so he said I had to adjust.
It literally was exactly what I read off
Right.
of my
But
screen
so how do you,
3 minutes
Courtney,
ago, and
how
you
do
were just
how do
stirring
you,
the pot.
Courtney, how do you not understand when somebody says I have to adjust
Yeah.
to a new role?
Yeah. That means he's unhappy?
No, I didn't say he was unhappy.
Oh my God. Am I on a
Did
different
I say
show?
he was unhappy?
You guys just
No.
made, you and Curtis just
Curtis
made it out.
said he was
like
unhappy.
he was a, that
I
we were,
said
I
it.
said that.
Oh my
I said,
God. Okay,
Courtney.
keep yelling. I don't
said-
care.
No, I'm not yelling. But
I
you're
don't care.
making it sound like you were spot on.
I was.
I said he said he had to adjust to
That's
his
not
new
what
role.
you originally said.
Curtis,
Courtney. Again, back to what is he? Maybe I'm an idiot, but what is that different on this team? The way they're running their offense.
Listen, Greg, I don't know.
Please tell me.
I don't get it. I don't
If
understand.
anything-
I've had to adjust, meaning it wasn't his choice.
Right? Like what?
So
adjust
that's all
to-
I said.
Adjust to what?
To his new role as a playmaker, and that's why I'm saying to you, Mego, you're down there.
There's 2 roles.
If a player says that, I'm not saying, and I never said he wasn't happy. I'm just saying there's some hesitation or reluctancy, whatever the word you want to use,
Trepidation.
to Jaylen Brown and his new role.
My feeling is that this is not an individual thing with Jaylen. There isn't something that's turned over this season. If you look at Jaylen as a guy over his career with the Celtics, this is increasingly, he is somebody who is constant and very firm in his beliefs of how things should be. He started his own shoe line. He doesn't want to be with Nike. He didn't go to the Olympics and didn't want to he felt very snubbed by that. I would guess that maybe that has something to do with not wanting to talk after a Golden State game when Kerr's on the other side and he and Jason Tatum are both seemingly sidestepping him on the sideline.
I did enjoy the two of them ignoring Steve Kerr the other
Like,
night.
I
That was
think
extraordinary.
And again, like Jaylen spent 2 years ago talking about sacrifice. Last year, he talked about them being a defensive team. He's been, in the past, talked about how much both he and Jason Tatum loved Ime Udoka when they're going through the transition away from that.
Right.
This is just Jaylen speaks his mind.
And I got no problem with that.
He will let you know about how he's feeling about different things. I actually feel like that's a much less, the clip with Abby on the sidelines is just a lot less, I don't know, of a bombshell than things that he's said in the past, and they still won a championship last year.
May I say, on behalf of all Boston, Jaylen Brown, we appreciate your sacrifice. Thank you. Thank you for that.
But Mego, you're the basketball person, and I'm not saying there. Do you believe?
Do you think I'm being naive about this?
No. I think that you're in like you love Jaylen Brown as a player. He's a tremendous player, but I think where you're kind of like, what's the whole saying? You're whistling past the graveyard.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's just something there, and it might be nothing, but there's a little percolation going on.
But is there something there that's always been there?
Well, I think with Jaylen always stands on business. And
Exactly. That's the right way to say it.
And he's not afraid to say what's on his mind. And people tend to take that as like he's mad or he's upset. No, that's just that's his personality. I don't know.
Glad we're
but
on the same page now.
But no, it has nothing to do. But Courtney, you can't say I said that he's mad when I didn't.
All right, one more from me before you go.
Yeah.
We're hearing that there are 4 to 5 groups that will submit an offer very, very soon.
Tomorrow.
Any idea on who they are? Is Bezos still in, or is I have been praying that Rob Hale, Celtics limited partner, is a part of one of these groups. What are you hearing?
So we know Pags and his consortium, because he can't go out and do that on his own. He's going to have backers with him. Other than that, I know that there was the story that came out from NBC Sports National the other day that got a ton of traction about FSG, Fenway Sports Group, and that they're expected to make a bid. I found that story.
That's a cocoa bomb.
I found the way that they wrote that story. I don't know your opinion on it, Courtney, or if you have new information. I found the way they wrote that story really strange. They basically aggregated a story from the Globe that didn't say that at any point, and then threw that in as an unattributed line. And I have to say, I'll be a little surprised if they come out as one of the bidders on Thursday, although I don't think we're going to magically learn all the identities on Thursday, so we're probably going to keep going and trying to guess all of this. But I found that particular report from NBC Sports National, just the way it was written. It was like somebody just trying to aggregate the landscape, and it was super weird.
But the expectation, or at least the speculation, is that those bids will all be over $6 billion.
That's what everybody wants.
Wow,
that's
nuts.
the goal. If
That's
they don't
crazy.
hit $6 billion, then that's a major disappointment, not just for the Grosbecks trying to sell their shares, but for NBA owners across the league, because they want the expansion teams to be $6 billion franchises. And you're trying to do it with a team that has the payroll that they have right now and all the tax slap on the wrist that they're going to incur from that. And then on top of that, they don't have their own arena.
Right.
So it's
not even
kind of
one like in sight down the road, or a location that you could
you
potentially
gotta think
say.
that the NBA in some way would be like, any other team that has their own arena maybe go up for sale right now, but they got to make it work with $6 billion.
Well, I think my guy Josh Kraft will get him a building if they need a building.
Well, they're going to need that.
All right.
Is that your new guy?
Well, he's going to run for mayor.
I'm saying,
and
I feel like you haven't had a hyper local political ally in a while.
It's been a while. I really,
Yeah. Well, and Baker was love-hate.
I've lost my touch, but I am ABW, Curtis. Anyone but Woo.
Okay. That hasn't worked for the Chiefs.
All right. Mego, great to see you.
Great to see you
Good
guys.
stuff.
I hope you find your organic mac. Is
Thanks.
organic mac better than regular mac, like Kraft mac and cheese?
It makes me feel better about
does?
it.
It
You
does?
know,
Okay.
it's probably all garbage, but it makes me feel better.
All right. Well,
That powder can't be good for you.
it's so good.
Don't
though.
isolate
It's so
that.
good.